your host, Sarah DM, and this is your favourite podcast. DM Talks is a podcast that aims to promote well-being and assist healing, whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually. Ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety, and this podcast hopes to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all at the centre of our own universe, so why don't we more to better our own existence? Bop, 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 bop. Boom, 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 boom. Cannons. Hello, everyone. And I'm excited to be joined by a good friend, a good pal, my dancing buddy, like my everything and more. Someone who accepts me in my full Scottish accent when I try it to be. It's Kaanem.
Hi. Hey, that was quite the intro. Thank you. I'm good. You know, I'm out here, you know, the vibes. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. Like, we had you last year, so we had to have you back. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you know what? That was like 2 years ago now, nearly.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh my god. Do you know what? When this episode comes out, it will literally be 2 years.
It's crazy, right? Like, yeah, because I remember you telling me when this is going to be released, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be 2. That's crazy. Jesus, so much has changed in 2 years. It's crazy.
Do you know what I mean?
Jesus,
we really have, from going to studio up into, you know, Corona, up into like working from home. Like,
honestly,
we've been through a journey.
A whole fucking pandemic, like, Jesus Christ, that is mad.
I know.
But yeah, like, I'm excited to be back. Like, no. I'm ready.
Well, we had to have you back. I loved your straight talkingness. I love your emotive self. You have this Pisces energy that is just so loud. And I know you're gonna drop bombs. I know you're gonna drop truth bombs. So like that's why I needed you here. Because like the amount of times that even when, you know, I'll have a quick phone call with you. And that 10-minute phone call will be 2 hours. And I feel like I've gone to therapy. Like, listeners, honestly, everyone needs a friend like Kaanem. They'll be speaking so much truth. I have to pause Kaanem and then ask him to repeat it. So then I'll write stuff down.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on my wall.
Yeah, you need to be like, wait, say that again. Sorry, just say that one more time. I'm like,
and like the thing is, you're just speaking. You're literally you just let it go through you, and like it's great because like it's like now I haven't seen you in a minute, but I've got messages on my wall that remind me of what you said. So it's like, oh, Kaanem, you know.
God, I did not know that. Thank you. Oh, that's so cute.
No, you know the vibes, like it's truth bombs, you want or whatever. But no, honestly, like I'm just really grateful because I think today we're gonna speak on a topic that people would rather keep hidden. People would rather like shy their eye to, like they would rather, you know, act like they're not above it, but oh my god, now you're killing me with those eye rolls. Literally, like, yeah, in this week's episode, listeners, we're going to be talking about jealousy. We're going to be talking about jealousy. Oh, sorry, don't you jealous me. Sorry, you know the song. I can't even remember who it's by, but I know it's in Black is King album. And like, I always try and practice, like, do footwork at it, but I never can.
Confession, I'm supposed to be a Beyonce fan. It's been that came out in 2020 and I still haven't heard it. I'm just like,
really? Do you have Disney Plus?
You know what? I don't. And the thing is, like, I need to get it because it's only like what, £6 a month or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? It's like, yeah, I need to actually get it because you've been telling me like all my favorite childhood shows are on there. I'm like, you know what? I need to get it. I need to just bite the bullet. And just
it's enjoyment. It's enjoyment. Yeah, like when you watch it. Watch Black is King because it's a visual art masterpiece.
And it's like a visual.
You know, Beyonce, she loves her visuals. Like
she's another queen who I could spend God knows how long talking about. Like, don't get me started because I will literally spend the entire episode just talking about Beyonce.
No, we know what flags not to cross over. Like, I get it. But no, I'm excited to talk about jealousy just because it's like it's a topic that people want to don't want to embrace and don't want to like accept and pretend it's not there. And when you pretend something's not there, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's have honest communication about this subject. Are you excited? Are you ready?
I am. I'm like, woo! Like, there's a lot I have to say about this topic of jealousy in just general, especially like Yeah, I've got a lot to say about it, I would say.
I'm so
Also,
excited to hear it. I'm so excited to hear
honestly,
it. But I guess
honestly.
we should probably go to our first segment first.
Okay, let's
And
go.
the first segment is the divine. This is
Yes.
where we share well, when we nominate something, a good thing, nominate something that has bring us pleasure. So what is your nomination for the divine this week, Kaanem?
Okay, so now this, I knew what I was coming to in this episode in terms of the divine. I knew what I was bringing to the divine today. So for me, it's the album "Play with the Changes" by Rochelle Jordan. I'm
Ooh,
just gonna take the next minute or two to just stand Rochelle Jordan because I love her.
amen.
She is my number one favorite musical artist. She does not make bad music. She's incredible, and it's so funny. Like I became aware of Rochelle Jordan end of 2019 when she released a song called "Fill Me In," and then I
Okay.
was like, who is this? And then like I went down the rabbit hole and got into her music, and she's incredible. But anyway, so not too long ago, the Grammy nominations for the what will be the early 2022 Grammy Awards
Mm-hmm.
like came out, and she submitted her album for like consideration. But when the nominations came out, she wasn't nominated. And I was like, sorry, but this queen was robbed. Like Rochelle Jordan literally just put out what I feel, and mind you, we're pretty much at the end of 2021 now. She
Yeah.
put out, in my eyes, the best album of 2021,
Amen.
and like not one Grammy nomination. So anyway, I want to nominate Rochelle Jordan and her album "Play with the Changes" for like the Divine segment. And listeners, if you haven't heard this album yet, and you're like, okay, what's the one song that might like pull me into the album? Listen to Already. The song is correct. It's everything. I listen to it literally like every single day. It's so funny. Like I've gotten like a lot of my friends into Rochelle Jordan to the point where, like the friend that I live with, like every time like we're around the house, I'll just hear them like humming a Rochelle Jordan song,
I
and
love
I'm just like,
that.
my impact. But anyway, that's my nomination. That's just
No, I
my
love
nomination
it.
for the Divine. I love Rochelle Jordan, and that album was beautiful. But yeah, she's a queen. But yeah, that's my nomination.
No, love it, love it. Thank you for your nomination. I shall definitely be listening to some Rochelle Jordan,
Yes.
like
You
get
know
into
what's
my
so
bag.
funny though? When you know the album that you hear me playing this speaker when you come here, I'm either playing Rochelle Jordan or Kylie Minogue most
Yeah.
half the time when I'm at home. Like I love me some Rochelle. But yeah, absolutely. If you haven't gotten into her, get into her. You'd love it.
No, I'm gonna have to because it's like even it's like I listen to you hear that music. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna listen to it, I'm gonna remember the memory of you dancing and singing. And it's like music is nostalgic. Do you know what I mean? Music is
Yes,
timeless. So it's just really
yes.
like nice to hear
Mm-hmm.
people's interests and likes. On a
Definitely.
similar note, I'm actually gonna
Mm-hmm.
nominate a musician, an artiste
Oh,
for my
oh.
divine. He's close to my
Mm-hmm.
heart. It's my little brother. It's my little brother. So yesterday, I
Uh-huh.
had the pleasure of going to see my brother at
Yes.
gig.
It looks
Actually,
so
let me
fun.
get. It was it was fun. I kind of felt like a little ad buyer. I felt like an ad buyer. Kaanem, I met someone who's born in 2003.
The fact that people are born in stars and they can drive now. Oh my
Yes,
god. Oh my
yes.
god.
That far. Like I was
I'm
still,
old.
and like I don't want to be that person asking people's ages, but
Oh,
then when you find out that like you're at an event where someone was born at 2003, I'm like, oh god, I'm
honestly.
like I feel
Oh,
like my back hunches over a little bit.
literally. And mind you, like I'm born in 1999, but when I meet someone that's born in like 2001, 2002, I'm like, past the millennium. Oh my god. Like I'm
Exactly.
old now.
And
Like
some of these people, like they look grown. Like my brother's young.
mhm,
My brother's a millennium baby, but he looks
mhm.
grown. Like he looks like an
Yeah.
adult. So it's strange.
Yeah.
I've actually got the uh event up now just because I want to give it all the grace,
Mhm.
all the flames. But yeah,
And
it's run by
what
the Underground Project,
uh-huh.
and it was at Sevilla Mia in Soho last night.
Mhm.
And it was
Okay.
a fun event. Like it was so
Mhm,
nice as well because these boys who put on the event, I thought they were local. They're from Wales.
mhm.
They
Oh,
came
fair.
from Wales
Oh, so they
to put.
traveled.
Yeah, they traveled to host this event, and they've been
Mhm.
listening to Emmanuel for like years, and like they like would share him on like their playlist and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then when they were doing an event in London, they were like, "Oh, do you want to roll through?" And Emmanuel was like, "Yeah."
Mhm.
A few other who was it? There's a person called A19 who's Emmanuel's friend that also
Mhm.
performed, and a person that I didn't know but was fucking sick as well, was called Rico, that performed. They were the last to set. My brother's friend Cam was also he's helped like be the producer on some tracks. Like, I can't, you know what, let me just talk.
I hear, I understand.
I can't remember, because I know a lot of them are into producing and music, but then also some people are rapping, some people are just producing, some people are engineers. So it's all techie, but they're all, it's techie, but they're talented. They're all talented. They all come from different facets. And it's so nice because I was saying to Cam yesterday, like, I'll just hear the music. I'll just hear the goings to and the froms. Like, I'll hear Manuel in his room just making all these beats and all these sounds, and then I'll hear him be like, "Oh, this is the one," or like stuff like that. And it's just really lovely to see, because like I was able to see the final product of that yesterday, and like he's gonna blow. He's gonna get his things, and it's just so nice to see him like just enjoy and celebrate. And like even yesterday, seeing people rap his lyrics back to him, I was like,
he's like, oh, he's a star now. Oh yeah.
And then guess what? I was out there just dancing, doing my thing, and then I got a quick ad lib as well. I got an ad lib. He shouts out to my sister. I was like, who, me? I was like, who, me?
That is so sweet. And honestly, your brother's insanely talented. Like, he's so good. And you know what's like, I mean, you know this already, but when I tell you, his music, you can't even see it on the screen. But like, if he ever sees it, he'll recognize the artwork for Deep Thinker and for Care Package. These are in my phone. Like, I listen to Deep Thinker. This is like, that's my favorite song of his. Like, he's good. You know what I mean?
He performed that last night.
Oh,
but yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
It was just really nice seeing people who like were young, talented, creative, put all their like thoughts together to produce an event, to produce music, to produce a showcase of those things. And it's just really affirming, because I think like sometimes we kind of get like bogged down about like what little resources we have, or who we know, or who we need to know, or where's this space. But if you've got a dream, if you've got a vision, don't worry about the rest, just carry on. Just you can get it done. So like I'll shout out to Emmanuel for the performance yesterday. Shout out for A19, Cam, and all the people that hosted the Underground project yesterday, because it was fucking sick. I really enjoyed.
Honestly, like, and that's what it's about. It's about like the power of community and like coming together to create something from just what was an idea in your head, or what was essentially nothing in terms of being in the tangible space, and turning it into a show where people are rapping your lyrics back to you, and you're creating, you know, these sick events with like, you know, with collaborators. Like, that's what it's about, and I love that. Like, I'm so happy for them, honestly.
It honestly is, and it's just so lovely to see, because all these guys, like there's no competition at all. They all love each other. They all want the best for each other. They all have a different hobby, a different idea. Like, one will be like doing videos, one will be doing producing, one will be doing styling, and they'll all come together with all these different facets, with all these different showcases, and create one big project. So it just shows you how like healthy interest and collaboration can be. And this is a little segue to what we're going to talk about today, because we can learn in collaborations when open and honest motivation isn't being pursued. It can kind of start getting a little bit techie. It can kind of fall into the period of jealousy, and that's where we're going to bring it up in Decoding the Messes.
Okay, let's go. Let's get into it.
So for listeners, Decoding the Messes. No, I love you. Honestly, you're like bop bop bop.
Who the fuck am I? Anyway, continue.
No, I love it. It's the energy that we fucking want for this episode. But Decoding the Messes is the part of the podcast where we talk about the things that I just forgot it. Wait, Decoding the Messes is the segment where we decode mess, where it's online or offline. Sick. Okay, so Decoding the Messes is where we unpack mess, whether it is online or offline. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about jealousy, and I want to start off with just saying a definition of jealousy. You know, let's be clear, let's be correct. So I'm gonna read out a definition of jealous. So this is an adjective. this, is a this is a feeling or showing an envious resentment of someone, of their achievements, possessions, or perceived advantages. Similar to envious. Yeah, fiercely. Another one.
What is there a difference between jealous and envious? This might be a dumbass question, but like, is there a difference? Like, is there, or are they the same?
So it says here that envious is feeling or showing envy. The full definition says, oh, to be fair, envious. It says envious and jealous is. Oh, maybe envious is the feeling, and jealous is the showing.
Okay,
so
that makes
people
sense.
can be envious but not necessarily show it. But then jealous could be the feeling and showing of envious resentment of someone, of their achievements. It's also being protective of one's rights and possessions. So like, let's say let's say we're together and I don't like you meeting certain types of friends. I'm jealous of the friends that you're hanging around with, but that doesn't mean that I'm envious of it.
Okay. I think I get that.
Because it's like I want to protect. It's like I want to protect, and I want to like I don't want to like share you. It's like I want to like be territorial.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. It's literally like being territorial, but in a way that's not healthy.
Yeah, it's unhealthy
in that context. Yeah,
exactly, in that context. But let's say envious. Like I wouldn't be envious of the people you're hanging with. I'm just envious that you're not hanging with me.
Gotcha. Okay. You see, that's what it took for it to come together for me. Okay.
Don't you worry, it happens. But yeah, no, like, what do you want to start or shall I start? Because I literally like.
Okay. I'm just like, well, let me come to the mic. Let me listen to the microphone.
Go on,
but no,
speak on it, my love.
I don't know, like, to be fair, like, even though I have a lot of, I would say, like, even though like I've got a lot of thoughts and feelings about it, I want to ask. I actually want to start by asking you like a question, and like obviously yes or no, and expand on it. Like, do you think you're a jealous person? Yes or no, and or in the middle, and expand on your answer.
I want to say no. What in the middle? In the middle, because I'm not necessarily jealous of people, but I'm jealous of traits that they may have. So one thing that I'm genuinely jealous of people who have this trait is people who can I can never say the word let me just let me break this word down, because it's not even, the thing is, it's not even that big a word, but like I need to say it. Okay, so the word is compartmentalize. So I'm jealous of people who can do that. And I'm honest. I'm because it's the ability to focus. I would love to have it. I'd love to just see something and move towards it and not attach so much feeling towards it. Because I feel like that's one thing that kind of distracts me from my like process and behaviors. Some things in my brain get so diluted with each other and so like it's like gnawing at each other that I just burn out and overwhelm myself. And I'm jealous of people who don't have to who experience that, but they can choose to not listen to it whilst they need to get something done. I honestly think if I could like, I try and practice it, but like it's something that like I guess it's just like learning how to change your mindset as well. But like in this point in time, I'm jealous of people that can compartmentalize.
But you know what, like on that point, right? It's so interesting as I'm hearing, because this is my first time like obviously exploring this conversation with you. It's so interesting that you say that, because like, you know how people always say the grass isn't necessarily greener on the other side, because I would say like, you know, I would say I'm somebody who tends to, yes, compartmentalize, but like it's almost like I wish I didn't, because sometimes it means that I don't get around to processing emotions as quickly as I should, and there's like a delay sometimes, because you know, typically speaking, people attribute being able to compartmentalize to like tucking away your feelings and being productive and moving towards like a career goal or something. But like, you know, we've spoken about this before, that kind of idea of like an emotional debt that comes back to you, because it's like a bunch of undealt with emotions that you kind of put to the side, and then it comes and hits you like a tsunami at some point. And like, it's so interesting like hearing you say that, because I think it's absolutely beautiful that like I feel like with like, I feel like I guess in the UK, in the world or whatever, under capitalism, like we've put a lot of like stock in like being able to compartmentalize, but it's like, but what happened to just being human and not necessarily like wanting to compartmentalize, but feeling all of the emotions that come when they do, you know?
And that is
But like, I
true.
completely get that though.
I think that, no, honestly, that's such a good point. And like it's the beauty of being human. It's the beauty of being alive.
Mm.
We can feel things, we can do things, we can use these little flesh suits to
Yeah.
get shit done or to fucking lay
Mm.
down. Like it literally, like we have so much adventure being in these physical bodies, you know.
Yes, we
But
do.
with those physical bodies come a mind that has to be uh sort of, that can be hindered by conditioning, it can be hindered by projections, it can be hindered by all these things. And don't get me wrong, if you were grown up, if you're brought up to like healthily process and then let go of those things, I think it would have like a different influence. But also because it's so like I think I'm one of those people. I take a lot of information very quickly. So like I'm very like aware of my surroundings. I'm aware of like energy. I'm aware of like uh just random shit. I'm just ready. I've got a lot of stimulus coming at me. I've got a lot of stimulus coming at me. And like
I like that.
I think like I'm at a stage where I try and not like weight it with emotions. Like I don't want to weight it like, oh, this is a good one, this is a bad one, because at the end of the day, like you said, we're human. These things are all temporary, you know, they're not gonna be in us forever, they're not gonna influence us forever. And I think it's like remembering the only constant thing that we have in this life is change, you know. And like the ability is to adapt is just another like reflection of resilience. But I also think that like with compartmentalization, it gives you a certain like privilege, or not even maybe privilege isn't the right word, but it gives you a certain type of like confidence, like a quiet confidence to move through the world, because you're able to take things as they are, maybe not forever, but for that moment. Because sometimes like I can be so burnt out by just what my mind has to offer, and it's annoying. It's like, babe, like I haven't spoken to anyone this week, like everything that is burning out is literally just a reflection of what's in my mind, or whether that's directly or indirectly from like what I've like been processing, you know, in this highly stimulated world.
No, for sure, for sure.
I think it's interesting because it's like, I don't think I've met people and I've been like, oh, I'm jealous of this, you know. I'm not, I don't see jealousy in that frame, but I see it outside of me. And maybe like, I think I even mentioned this in a podcast in the podcast recently, because it's like I've like experienced a lot of isolation in my life. So like the only person that I really had to compare myself to was myself. So I do think that sort of layer of like,
come on, Beyonce. You know,
like, it's true.
Sorry,
like, that layer of independence, meant that like I was comparing myself to myself, and like I couldn't be like asking people like, oh, did this happen to you, when like they didn't look like me, they didn't talk like me, they didn't have the same culture as me, so I can't really be jealous of them, and they can't really be jealous of me, because we're going to be experiencing life differently.
True, very true. That's true.
But what about you? Are you jealous of anything?
Ooh, I would say no. I would say there was probably maybe one or two things. Like there are one or two things that have happened that I'd say over the course of a year, and they're both in the context of a romantic. They're both in a romantic context, but like I would say my typical every like day, like my day-to-day life, like friends, family, or whatever. I'd say no, like. But I would say, yeah, it may be in a romantic context. There are probably like I think it's starting to kind of unravel for me, and it has over the past year or so. I'm kind of like, maybe I should. I'm like, you know, I'm always psychoanalyzing myself, sometimes to a fault, and I'm always like, why do I think this? Why do I believe this? Why am I behaving this way? Why am I responding like this? But yeah, like I would say I'm not a jealous person, to answer the question, but I definitely think there are kind of like pockets that there are like certain isolated events that have kind of made me go, is this
jealousy? Is
this what I'm feeling right now? Like, definitely.
No, but I love that, because it's like, well, I love that you're so open with it, because it's like having that like open and compassionate, very strong like wording there, compassionate conversation with yourself and
Yeah.
conversation of your mind of, oh, where did I learn this, can save you
Yeah.
so many lessons in the long run. Like I think if that was a question that I like asked myself when I was younger, I wouldn't have I just don't think I would have. Maybe I would have started therapy later. maybe, just because,
You think about
like,
this.
honestly, because it's like we can just compassionately ask ourselves, where did I learn this? Why am I? Why is this? Who taught this? You know, where did I pick this up from? Because like it could be parental, it could be generational, it could be societal. Like there's so many different like like reasonings to why it came about. So like just asking yourself, why did I learn this, will help people in the long run. Like
Definitely.
I think one thing that I definitely noticed, and I think I'm not sure, well, let's get into it. Let's just get into it. So when I was living in Manchester, there's a huge creative community in Manchester, like massive, you know, and collaborations happen, conversations happen, like art, music, fashion, like whatever it is happens. And because
let me not even say too much. Anyway, continue.
not say it, honey, we're on a podcast. We're giving
Next thing I'm gonna be getting acid. The people are gonna be coming after. Continue.
So I bring this up to say that I like, I don't know, it's I never really fully experienced the backlash of certain things, just because I think I was in pretty much my own lane. Like I would like, if someone needed a model, I'd put my name in the ring, or like I was podcasting. Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't really doing everything that the girls were doing. Like because I know you girls like
I know that's right. I know that's right.
You like to tussle. There was so much like competition, but indirectly. Never
Lots of
in people's
one-upping.
phases. And yes, one-upping, which I found very confusing, because people would misplace themselves as friends, or people would not misplace themselves as friends, misplace themselves as companions or whatever. Babe, we can be acquaintance and we can build like an empire. So even now, if you know that I have sauce, you know you have sauce, and you know if we add the sauce together, we can make stew. Yeah, we can make a delicious fucking stew. Why do you still feel the need to one up?
You know what? That's a great point that you raised, because like obviously we were at uni at the same time, but and like I definitely noticed that myself being there, like on the Manchester creative scene. It's kind of like there's power, like we were just talking about before, like with Manny and Cam, like all the guys and stuff. Like there's power in community, and I think what's very interesting, like even on the theme of jealousy, because I don't want to kind of swan around and be like everyone's just jealous, and that it's just jealousy, because it's reductive to boil everything down to jealousy, and it's quite it does look a way to kind of attribute everything to jealousy, because not everything's jealousy. It's like sometimes I'm just a dickhead, isn't it? Okay, fine. They're not jealous of me, they just don't like me because I'm a dickhead. Fine. But anyway, but like on that point, like when I moved to Manchester, I definitely noticed a lot of weird gatekeeping going on. Not across the board, because I would say for the most part, the scene was good. Like the creative scene was good to me. I would say I've met some really cool people and stuff, but like I definitely noticed over the course of my undergrad years, I would definitely come across people that would just be like hostile from the jump, or like people that it's like you literally follow me on Instagram and you don't miss a story. So why is it now in real life you're acting like you don't know me, or you're trying to kind of, you know, when somebody kind of tries to act like they don't know what you do or downplay your talent a bit? It's like, okay, cool. You know what? My aunt always used to say growing up, who can't hear will feel. And it's like, okay, so if that's how you're playing it, watch me succeed. Do you know what I mean? Because I've definitely noticed some people gatekeeping, and from a place of jealousy, because they're almost threatened by what you bring to the table. Or if you do something similar, instead of wanting to work with you, they'll see you as somebody to compete with. And it's like, when we could just pool our resources and succeed and go further. But no, you want to be competing with me. It's like, okay, hold that energy. I'm going to show you up out of spite. Hold that.
No,
and it's like,
true.
Let's see.
But like in those moments, I'm like, babe, what are you gatekeeping? Like, what are you gatekeeping?
No, honestly, because my whole thing is that like these people be gatekeeping.
It's creativity.
Like, honestly, it's like, bro, all you have to your name is a MacBook Pro. What are you gatekeeping? Like, sorry, what are we gatekeeping here? All of us have nothing. Listen, like, it's me too. I ain't got shit either. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
me too.
So
Me
like,
too.
honestly, like, so it's like instead of just trying to like build together, it's like people are just trying to just be weird and competitive. Child.
No, honestly.
I can't. It's a dub. It's a dub for some. Like, I just can't. I can't. Like, it's annoying. But like, do you feel like since leaving Manchester, you've kind of, especially like as we kind of immerse ourselves onto like the London scene, like the London creative scene and meeting people, do you find that like, are you still finding that kind of weird gatekeepy, jealousy, competitive energy down here, or no?
I feel like I don't know. I'm so selective with who I work. Well, no, that's a lie. I was about to say I'm so selective with who I work with. I can call. I called well, quote unquote, a stranger the other day, and now we're doing a project next week. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'm like,
and you know what? And sometimes that's needed. Yeah.
but like, it's just it's weird. I guess my process is like, if I can talk to you and if I can have a chat to you about like anything, then I want to work with you, because it's like, I can't like talk to people that are like rigid, like, and I mean rigid in the sense of like, they are restricting in how they do things. Like, I need a free-flowing conversation. I want to show you what I want to produce, but not to put too much pressure on the outcome, because I believe in what you have. But if I have like a phone call with you and we're literally just talking, it's fine. Like, literally, I called this person yesterday and it was about a project. We spoke for like a good 25 minutes before I even mentioned the project. We were just talking.
I love that.
I've never spoken to this person in my life. I've just seen them on Instagram. Do you know what I mean?
Nice. And that's what it's about, though.
It is, because it's like, if you like someone's things, and if you like how they present themselves, or the relationship they have, or their like a certain facet, a certain trait that they have, it's like, oh, I'm intrigued by you, let me get to know you a bit more. Can we work together? Yes. Can we work together? No. Like, there's literally like, it's just a yes or no sort of answer. And
1000%.
even if it's a no, you never know, like, maybe if you can't work with me, but you might work with someone else that really is appreciated, you know. And I think like that is such a like it's like a trial by error sort of experience. And I think as a like an apprentice of life, as a student of life, we should sort of walk with that energy, because then it adds to the adventure.
No, I 100% agree. And you know what? I will say, like, most of the time, strangers that we come across are going to be really good to us. But, like, in my experience anyway, a lot of that weird, you know, like, people gatekeeping when they know you have a certain set of skills, but don't want to bring you in because they're afraid you'd upstage them. I've had that more from people that I've called friends than I have strangers. Like, and don't get me wrong, this isn't something that pops up in my life a lot. Like, but when it does pop up, it is glaringly obvious. Like, it is, you like spot it from a mile away, the red flag. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And like, yeah, I think it's great that like we're like building community in that way. Do you know what I mean? But I think for me, I've definitely had to kind of change the relationships I have with certain people. Like, obviously, off air. I was told you off air, but like,
no, but it's true, because the thing is, do you know, I've learned a lot about like jealousy, like, and a lot about like jealousy within friendships. A lot of people like you weaker, and that's not just like.
I'm about to.
Hayden just fell down, listeners. But it's true, like, some individuals just like you weaker, like some individuals like you low, and like, as peak as that sounds, it's the truth. Like, I've literally left so many friends, like, without warning, just because like God will remind me of a memory and I will be like, oh my God, I accepted this. Bye.
Honestly, and I guess I can speak about this openly because it's been a couple of years now, but 2019 was, I would say, probably the worst year of my life to date. 2020 was a very close second, but 2019 I would say it was just a really rough year. Like, I kind of had a really bad mental health episode that kind of just started in February and didn't really let up until like the end of 2019 pretty much. And like, I just remember, like, I had some incredible friends around me at the time. Like, my family really wrapped themselves around me at the time as well. But like, I definitely remember, like, there were definitely certain friends who I had, and like, who, it's like, at the time you don't really realize that they like seeing you weaker. But then 2020, like, 2020 was better than 2019. Still wasn't the best because obviously we were in a pandemic and we all know
Oops,
that did to everybody. But like, I definitely noticed I was like in 2020, like certain people kind of just fell out of my orbit. Fine. And then I noticed in 2021, like I would say 2021. Sorry, but 2021 has been a very good year. Like,
it has.
it's been a very good year. So like, and I've definitely seen like how my life is very different to how it was in 2019, and that like I'm in a healthy headspace. You know, I've got my own place now. I've got like a job. Like, you know, oh, I don't know.
AKA Kaanem's
Maybe we can bleep
winning.
this up.
AKA
Honestly,
Kaanem is winning.
I'm about to flex a couple more
Everything
times. You know,
Kaanem touches will thrive.
Midas, baby, Midas. Okay, Midas with it. But yeah, I got my master's degree and set up a business. So it's like,
Amen.
I'm definitely trying, you know what I mean? I'm pushing my life forward. And I've definitely noticed that now as I've really kind of like developed this kind of like kind of more assured sense of self. Like there are definitely certain friends I'm like, oh, you're trying to compete with me. You've got to go. Like I'm not even trying to do that with you because everyone who knows me knows I'm my friend's biggest supporter. Like you know this. Like ask anybody. Like if there's an opportunity, I will bring a friend in. Like a lot. Like there are definitely times where like somebody will kind of go like, oh, I'll see like an opportunity and redirect to a friend and be like, you'd be great for this. Go ahead. But like I've definitely noticed that there are a couple of people like where it's like, you could have brought me in on that because you know that I can do that. But you chose not to. So it's like, okay, fine, peeped it. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I see what you're doing, and that's fine. Because like one thing I can't take is feeling like someone's in competition. I don't take that well. Like feeling like someone's in competition with me
I find
because
it so
I also
strange.
I'm this might sound bad to say on the air, but like I'm more up myself than the average person, I would say, which
Amen.
is
No,
and
be up.
honestly, I think in this case it's a good way to be because it's like I'm only worried about what I'm doing. Like honestly, and like I bet there's some listener that's gonna be like, sure, but it's like it really is true. Like because the only life I can control is my own, and
that part.
and like it's been so sad because there have been friends where it's like I thought we'd be friends for like forever. You know, friends that you would think would be at your wedding. You know, friends that your kids will call.
No, do you know what's so funny that you say that? Like friends that you'd call like, oh yeah, this is your second auntie. I promise you, by God, you will not come to the auntie. You will not know these children. You will not know shit.
Honestly, and
like if I'm having children, I will steer them away from your personality because I've learned the hard way that like there's a lot of you know what, actually, let me ask you a question. You're talking about sense of self, right? Do you think, and this is just a theory now, do you think depending on your sense of self, you attract different friends in your life? And therefore you will be how do I say this? It's like, okay, so I'm feeling low. I attract a friend in my life and we're like, well, we're being friends. And then when I'm feeling like my better self, they aren't comfortable with it because they met me in a certain position. So now they're going to do their best, whether it's indirectly or directly, to remind me of where they met me.
You know what? Yeah, I would say yes, but in my experience, it's almost been like if I think about like my life, like my adolescent years, my early adulthood up to now. I mean, I say I'm literally 22. Like I'm still in my early adulthood technically, but anyway. But like I would say for me, it's more like somebody meeting me, like, and me being very confident and then wanted to take me down a peg. Yeah. That's kind of a lot of what I experience and feel. And like one of my like really close friends, like I remember she said this to me a couple of years ago and it stuck with me because it's so true and like I love her so much. She's great. But I remember her saying like, for someone that's insecure, because at the time things were happening, which is on the theme of jealousy, there were basically just like a group of people that I went to undergrad with that were just very weird and like they'd be really like nice to me to my face, but then like make really bitchy and snarky comments. And it's kind of like, we're not friends and you don't need to pretend that we're friends. It's fine. Keep it pushing. But because like we had very whoo, this is gonna really identify. I don't care. If you want to look for me, and what? Like, because we had similar social circles, like there were people that I couldn't necessarily kind of, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just trying to be here, but it's like they're always fucking popping up. It's like fuck off. But anyway, yeah, like because of the dynamics that were happening with said people, I was just unpacking it, I guess, with one of my really close friends, and she said to me like, so like you just get comfortable with the fact that as a person that's very secure in themselves, people who are insecure are not going to like you, and you're probably just not going to be a good person to be around for someone that's insecure because you're so assured. And I was like, you know what? She made a point, people. She made a point.
You know what it is? It's like the light that you emit rattles people's demons, rattles it. And like this is one thing that I've actually learned, like in like work as well, in working situations. Like when you get a new I was gonna be detailed then, but like let me speak my truth.
You have to leave out what you need to.
Like you've been at the job for a while, you found your routine, you're a great worker, and then there's new people that have started there, and they're trying to like assert their authority with you. It's like, you know, when you're in school and you have a substitute teacher, so they come in and they try and be like, this is me, and it's like,
they're trying to like give it the whole like I am to like,
babe, I'm just here to do my subjects and leave. Like you don't need to do this like power dynamic. Like,
exactly.
Come on, we're here to learn. You're here to teach, and then I'm gonna leave.
It's just literally it's pure peacocking. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't need to do this. Like, stop. Do you know what I mean?
It's one thing that I've definitely learned at work, because it's like I'm a creative. I'm like I'm engaged. I'm very aware of my position, whether it is like, well, I mean. Culturally, or if it's like the influence I could have just because of like knowing how business or dynamic has changed like over a certain period. And I'll see people try and knock down my pegs who've been there like not that long, and I'm like, babe, don't fight with me, fight with your God.
It's like,
fight with your,
you know what I mean?
fight with your own self-belief, because me, I'm thriving, and everybody who like I engage with thrives too, because we all are rooting for each other. If you want to look down at me just because you don't have as much source, then that's not my business. Like, but the thing is, you have source, you just need to embrace it. Like, I'm one of those people that like, whether it's like cringe or not, I embrace. Like, I am who I am. Like, I literally I'm accepting. I'm self-accepting. And I think that is the first like antidote to like feeling more of a secure person, and therefore not like being so judgmental with your jealousy, because like I've realized the people that can't laugh at themselves are the most jealous people.
Really?
I've noticed that.
Because
it's like they put, it's like jealous people are like so concerned of how they present themselves that they take themselves too seriously. They just need to shake a little. They need to relax.
But you know what I would say though, I wouldn't necessarily put those things together. And the reason I say that is because like I wouldn't say I'm not highly concerned with my self-image, but like I definitely do watch what I put out into the world in kind of like how am I coming across. Do you know what I mean? But like I don't know if I'd equate those two factors, like being, because to me, like what I'm hearing is like just like a heightened sense of self-awareness and jealousy are kind of like go hand in hand. And I don't know if that's the case. I have, maybe it's because I haven't seen that, but like I don't know.
Well, maybe like it might be the way that I'm phrasing it. Let me like when I mean like can't laugh at themselves, like, you know, like you know how like
people that stand in the corner at the party.
Yeah, so people that would stand in the corner of the party, or like, to be fair, that was actually a great example that you said. But like even like, you know, when someone does something like wrong, but they like beat themselves up too much about it, and it's like, babe, just chill. It happened. Like I burp, you burp. Like it's all cool. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like, dude, like no one's shit smells of roses. Like just everyone. Chill out and like just
I haven't heard that. That is a new one.
No, do you know what I mean? Because it's so true. Because I think like one thing that I've noticed about like jealous people is that they try and like, well, the jealous people that I'm talking about are quite self-restrictive, and they can't like embrace like certain sides of themselves. Like, let's say so one example, let me say an example. Like, let's say I say a word wrong, or like I say You know what? There's a memory that's coming straight up my head, but I don't want to be too specific because it might bait me out. But basically,
Okay. Yeah,
so
just like,
basically,
yeah,
this
yeah.
one time I was at this like person's house, and like he was a person I was seeing, and like I was at his house like often, but I accidentally said, "Oh yeah," because I live here now. Like I accidentally said that like as a joke,
Mhm.
like not like I was there like,
Yeah,
oh
it was
god,
like
like
because anybody would take that as a joke. Like, do you know what
yeah,
I mean?
and I said it, but the jealous person near me was like, "What did you say? What did you say?" And like tried to like
Uh,
really humiliate me and embarrass me
Can I
because
use? I can't use names, but like, was do I is I'm trying to not give away specific information. Let me just tell you. Hold on, because I'm thinking of you don't speak to the jealous person anymore, do you?
Pardon?
You don't speak to the person that's jealous anymore,
No,
do
no, no,
you?
no, I don't.
Okay, okay. Let me just thingy. It's like I just think these
So
are
it was,
answers. I
but
huh?
like, I don't even, the person you texted me, I don't even think they were there
Yeah,
at
yeah,
that
yeah.
point.
Oh,
But
fair, fair.
it was the fact that like I had said it, and then the
Uh-huh.
partner was like, "What did you say? What did you say?" And tried to
It's not that deep. Like,
exactly, it's not that deep. It's
yeah,
not that
it's not
deep.
that deep.
Learn to laugh yourself so you don't have to try and
Mm,
laugh at others.
yeah. A word. A word. An
Do you know
absolute
what I
word.
mean? And like, I
Yeah.
find it really cringy because it's that whole thing of like one up or like, oh, well, look what you've done, honey.
Mm,
I've done it and I've
honestly.
gone over it. Like, you need to take a
Honestly.
fucking chill pill. God.
Literally. Do you know what I mean? That is so wild. But you know what I will say? I actually, when you put it that way, I definitely do agree because I'm like thinking of the person that's just standing on the side and can't have a good time because they're too, do you know what I mean,
There's
uptight.
too
But it's
stush.
like,
There's too like,
yeah, that's too good for it all. I
yeah.
completely get that. But you know what? Like since we're telling stories, I think
We're doing story time. We're story time.
honestly, to be fair, you can keep this in there. It doesn't matter. But like, okay, how do I? Okay, a couple of years ago, I had a shindig basically, and I invited quite a few people were there, so whatever. But one of the people that was there was somebody who at the time I had a crush on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my closest friends knew this, and people knew what the deal was. Like they knew. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like my closest friends knew, and like um basically, unbeknownst to me at the time, somebody who I thought was a super close friend of mine, essentially. Oh, shit! I'm really telling this on the air. So a person who was supposed to be one of my closest friends who, shouldn't be going behind your back and doing anything weird and shady, basically added this person on, let's say, a form of social media, right? But
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell me about it at the time. And a few weeks later, like nearly a month later, we were just having a really casual conversation, and the friend brought up that they added said person on a form of social media, which is how I came to find out. And at the time, typically, I was just kind of like, mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. Hung up the phone. I literally called my friend and I said, sis, let me tell you what just happened, yeah? Like, do you know what I mean? Because I was just like, what the hell? And as I was processing it with said friend, I was like, that's very weird that, like, it's like those friends where it's like, that is a branch of jealousy. Because why are you, because in my mind, the only way I can process that situation is you're trying to go after somebody I have a crush on, especially when they have a behavioral pattern or an inclination for doing it, let's say, like that's where it comes from. Because if it was like another friend, I don't think I would have been as suspicious. But it's like the fact that you didn't say anything, because that's something you would have just been like, oh, I added X on social media or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, cool. But it's the fact that you just didn't say anything and then just slipped it into a conversation casually, and it's like, it's especially I can't say how it actually came up because Vin's really gonna pinpoint who I'm talking about. But I just remember going, okay, that's what you're doing, cool. And like from then, that person never met anybody that I had a crush on in real life again. But
Mm.
anyway, but like for me, it's that when we talk about this idea of jealousy, it's like in my life, typically speaking, I've been on the receiving end of it more than I have been the person being jealous. And I'm about to get there as well because
Yeah.
no, I'm not perfect. I can't swan around and be like, I've never been jealous before. I'm about to
For
get into how I
sure.
can be bad vibes too. But like that to me was just like a very interesting example because it's like especially when it's like I said, when somebody has shown a streak of behavior, it's because it's like, and after that, let me not even say too
No,
much
but
before
that's the
next
pattern.
thing.
No, the proof is in the
But
pattern. The proof
the
is
proof is
in
really in
the
the pattern.
pattern. Because
And
the thing
like,
is, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no,
like,
no, go on, babe, go on.
like, because it's like we have an intuition, right? We literally have an
Mm-hmm.
instinct. When we
Yeah.
ignore it, that's the first red strike. That's the first red strike. And this could be quote unquote an irrational thought that just comes into your mind. It
Definitely sorry
literally
that.
could be. It could be that.
Mm-hmm.
However, it could be a gut feeling. It could be I don't know how everybody's intuition works, but it could just be your intuition. Anyway, your intuition
1000%.
strike.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
a incident happens. And then you're like, I don't know. You leave it. And then you bring it up again. How they deal with it, you can see, like, let's say I'm the friend now, and you ask me, and I'm like, well, there's this, like, the way that I move when I talk to you about it, another strike, you know.
You know what it was though? You know what it was? I'm talking about shit, I don't care. Whoever can look for me, you know where to find me, shit. So my it's the alcohol pissing. Anyway, so the way it basically came from the conversation was the friend asked me, let's say the friend basically asked me, how are things going with you and X, right? And I said, oh, like, there was just, just very, at the time I didn't know this. So I was just like, oh, I just thought it was a casual question. I was like, oh yeah, like nothing's really, da 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 da, because X is in shit. X is in another city, let's say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which city because it's really going to thingy. But I said X is in another city. And then the friend said, oh, I know. And I was like, how do you know that? And then that's when they were like, oh, because I was like, we've spoken many times in this time.
Sorry.
So it's like, this isn't our first time speaking since the thing.
I don't mean to be rude, but you're talking, and now I'm like all the memories are coming back.
Because you know the story I'm talking about.
No, that's the thing. Because no, I can't lie. When you're talking, I forgot about the story. Yeah. So I was literally like the listener. I was literally just listening to the podcast. But then as you're talking, I'm like, oh wait, no, this happened.
Yeah, that story. And like, literally, and it's like, from that. Don't get me wrong. And the thing is, like, it's probably slightly bad vibes because I have never brought it up to said person as a point of contention and been like, you did that and it's shady. Because my whole thing is that, especially there are certain people, when you confront them with their bullshit, they'll pull a stun. And my whole thing is that, like, I already see the behavior for what it is. I don't need to have a conversation about it. There's no explanation. There's no way you can talk around it. It happened. And from then, that person never met anybody that was into again, ever. Yeah. Like, anyway. But yeah, I just thought it was a very funny one. And like, even if I'm thinking about like not me just firing shots in this podcast, I don't give a fuck.
Don't worry.
But like, even if I'm thinking about like strange examples of jealousy, it's also like people that, we talk about people that want to take you down a peg. I think one thing I've noticed in my life, and I definitely noticed this, I can't say when, but let's say over the past few years, people that kind of go out of their, when somebody knows that you're uncomfortable somewhere and they go out of their, how do I put this?
Their way to remind you of it.
In a way, yeah. Because it's like why are you actively befriending people that I don't like? Do you know what I mean? And that to me is an issue because it's like, why is it that you why do you like see me uncomfortable? Like, what's going on here? Like, and I don't want to reduce that one to jealousy. But I think there's something to be said.
But I think it's like to do with respect. Because I can't lie.
Yeah.
Like, as you're talking, I'm thinking about one time when I was a bad vibes friend, and I literally, like, it wasn't the fact that I was engaging with people that what's the word? It wasn't the fact that I was like purposely engaging of, let's do some things, like let's meet up, like let's, like, I wasn't like planning things with people, but like as they were there, I wasn't actively I wasn't actively like taking myself away from situations. Like me, I was just sort of like, no, sorry, you know what, you speak, I'm just gonna, let me just listen.
No, it's fine. No, I'm listening.
I know, I bring it up to say, because I didn't really know where I was trying to land. I was just trying to say how, like, I have been the bad vibes friend before who hasn't been purposely direct, or like different age groups actually, like there's been times in my life when I haven't been that forthcoming with people that I know have had vibes with other friends because I didn't want to get involved. And I think sometimes when you pretend to be
that's
Switzerland,
fair.
no, but like the thing,
Yeah.
like as you grow older, you realize how it sort of like obstructs, like a lot of people like to sit on this fence in this life, and that's okay for you and certain topics. But if you sit on the fence, obstructs your integrity, now I have an issue. And that's something that I had to learn in my friendships and my relationships. Because before, these people would be beefing, but then like, let's say I could have one friend that beefs with everyone. They just beef with everyone. And I'm like, look,
if you're like, please rest.
Everyone, if you're beefing with everyone, I'm not gonna be a dickhead. Exactly. But then there's some people who've actually done very like hurtful and like nasty things. I'm not going to give you the time of day because now that obstructs my morality. And if I'm complicit in it, then, well, just God forbid.
Exactly. And you know what? Like, and that is a great point, because don't get me wrong, there are definitely certain like friends of mine who are friends with people, not that I don't like, but friends with people I'm not particularly fond of. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, you do that. Like, fine. But like, my whole thing is that like, I'm more, I guess I'm more thinking of specific examples where like I'm in a group setting and it's like there are people who you're supposed to be able to look at in a room and be like, I'm supposed to feel safe with you. But it's like, if you know that, like, you know, I'm not particularly fond of said individual, it's like, why are you going out of your way to kind of like, I don't it's like, I can't explain it without getting too specific. No, but yeah, it's just like people that go out of your way basically to befriend your ops in a way where it's justified and valid. That's the asterisk. When it's justified and valid, it's kind of like, so you just like seeing me uncomfortable? Like, what's going on here?
I completely get it. It's just so funny that you say that, because I'm getting flashbacks of like different memories of my life. And like this one time, like this person I used to be like Switzerland for. Let's say I used to be Switzerland during these like during these two friends, and then I just had enough. I had fucking enough. Like I was walking off. I'm being very direct now, but I don't think it doesn't make it better. But I remember this one time. At one time, me and my friends were out. We ended up going home. As I was walking home, I heard. She used to be a friend, but now she's an op, right? I heard the op complain about the friend, and all my friend did was just be out. She was just present. She was just be like out here. And I literally was like, nah, I'm sick of this shit. I went off on her. I was like, she's done nothing to you. You might just chat shit about my mate. Like I was going off on one. My friend didn't even know. My friend just was out and went home, like the other one.
As you should, though. You were right to do that, to be fair.
Because it annoys me, because it gets to a point of like, Rog, all you do want to talk, all you guys want to do is act, all you do is just want to like create something out of nothing. And it's very strange because sometimes people who dislike you respect you more than fake friends and or fake like acquaintances, and it really, really grinds my gears because like
look up the thing.
This like competitiveness, which is in an indirect form that I'm talking about, that's linked to jealousy, is so confusing. Like I do not need to do mental gymnastics for anyone, yet you want me to interpret your own behavior because you feel uncomfortable here. Babe, that's for you and you're a therapist. That's not for me. That is literally not for me.
It's not your job to make anybody kind of, especially it's like, you know, when people are jealous, they almost think it's your job to tame that feeling of jealousy by becoming more humble. But it's like, I have never been a humble person. I'm humble in the sense that I know I have a lot to learn, but I'm not humble in the sense that I pretend I'm not good at things. Like, I'm not like, oh, I just don't know. I'm just not sure. I'm like, I'm the fucking shit. Get to fucking know. Like, come on now. Like, don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of work to do in this life to get to where I'm trying to be.
Of course.
Where I'm at right now, the potential is there. There's still a lot of skill there. Do you know what I mean? It's just like I'm just trying to get to that next level. But like, you know, people think it's like your job to tame their jealous feeling. It's like, go to your fucking therapist, man.
Exactly. Go to your therapist. Go to your caregiver, because it's not my fucking business. Like, I find it so cringy. Like, one thing, like, I'm gonna toot my own horn here because why not? But
as
like,
you should.
me, like, if I wasn't podcasting, I'd be a dancer. Like, I literally would be a dancer. Everyone who I know knows this. Like, so how is it when I'm dancing now? You like, well, not you, but like you, man, are out here being like, oh my god, you're doing this, you're doing that, babe. My hips literally do not lie.
Honestly, Shakira who?
Take
Shakira where?
exactly. Like I'm literally just out here doing my thing. And it's so weird because people sometimes think I'm putting on a show. And it's like, babe, I'd be doing the exact same thing if I was in my room by myself. Like it's
Yeah,
literally not for you. It's not for
that's a great way
you.
to
I'm
be.
just so comfortable with dancing,
Yeah,
shaking, and just moving. I don't
good,
want to tame
good.
myself, you dusty man.
Definitely. Actually, and you shouldn't either. Absolutely not. But like, and stuff like that. I think it's a great way to be. But like, at this point, I can't lie to you. Like, those weird competitive, like, kind of people. It's like, you know what? Like, I have nothing for them anymore because for the longest time, I remember spending a lot of time, especially during my undergraduate years, trying to like diminish myself and make myself quieter and smaller because
Mm-hmm.
like I was definitely made to feel by certain people that I was taking up too much space. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh no, these bitches just wanted to see me humbled. It's like, oh, good fucking luck because I'm like, listen, I'm about to be everywhere soon. Like they'll find out how soon enough, but I'm about to be everywhere soon. And it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, no, I'm not. Don't tame yourself with people, man. Like, nah, fuck those people.
Honestly, and like the thing is, it's like I've seen a lot of copycats, right? And
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of people like
Let's talk
um
about it.
get jealous and then try and copy what someone else is doing. But you don't know me and you
Right.
do not know my God. Like I promise you, everything that I touch,
Hmm.
everything that I touch
Literally,
will have my unique source of SDM on it. It will be
honestly,
beautiful. It will be
and that's the thing.
mine.
There
So I
are
don't
definitely
care.
there are definitely friends that I've met along the way that it's like you're literally trying to carbon copy my personality. Like you take like especially like witty things that I might have like said or whatever, and then they're like recycling those jokes in like another group setting. It's like, wait, I said that. Like, but like,
Kaanem 2.0. K 2.0.
it's honestly giving Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. Like, it's like, bro, like,
Stop, you're killing me. No, you're actually killing me because like it's not even just that. Like sometimes like, oh God, this is so fuck it, I'm out here.
I'm so
Like,
shady.
like when I hear people like copy certain words to make
Mm,
themselves sound like almost like cooler or like more aware or like
what
more
do you mean?
like, oh, I just remembered like I had this friend and white woman her language
And that's
changed.
the Omega. That's the under.
But like the way that she spoke, like the person that I met, right, and the
Mm,
person that I left spoke very differently. They
mm,
spoke very
uh-huh,
differently,
uh-huh.
and I was just there like, I'm gonna ignore this because it doesn't actually
Yeah,
affect me. It doesn't actually affect
yeah,
my well-being, but
yeah.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And like, there's something to be said to people like that. It's like, it's just weird. Like, it's like
So
there's people that like watch your every move. It's like, you know what? I remember Leonie Anderson. It was just an Instagram caption, but it's just I think I have screenshots in my phone. But the
yeah.
caption was like, I'm either in your mouth or on your mood board, and it's like, you know what, T? Because like, there's people that like you watch my every move, you study me, like literally study me like I'm a fucking exam that you're revising for. But then it's like but then you want to kind of act like you don't see the source I bring, but you want to copy the source. Like, what did Brie Roma say in Ape Shit? You can steal the source and got the same recipe. Like, come on now. Like, she, a songstress, a lyricist, another one who, a queen.
The
Oh
music
my
it's
God.
giving. The music is just giving
She's a
grace, ad
star.
libs,
She's a
everything.
star. She is a star. But like, yeah, it's just like super interesting to kind of like just see people that move like that. It's kind of like, yeah, no. Or those people that are like trying to, I've got like, just keep myself on track. But it's like even
No,
like
don't
people that try
worry.
to like people that like try to one up you as well. Like, have you experienced that? Like family, friends, romantic relationships. Like, well, we're about to get into that too. But
I've
like, have you had that
definitely,
before?
I have like, I've experienced it, but I've also like distanced myself from a lot of people who've done it. Like I don't remember like
Hmm.
vivid examples. I remember their attempts and then
Yeah.
laughing at their attempts and then taking myself away because
Yeah.
it's like I to be fair, the only times that I can really kind of remember is like school and like high school
Mm,
where I'd actively see people be like, oh, well, Sarah's done this, I'm doing that. Like I don't really
mm,
like experience it more just because like I probably have like 9 friends and I have
fair.
like
That is good. That's how it should be. I can't lie to you.
honestly
That's how it should
like
be.
I probably have 9 friends and I move in such a like reflective and like aware. Sometimes it can be at my expense, because sometimes I'm like, oh god, like my thoughts just bouncing off like my room now. Do you know what I mean? Like an echo chamber. But also it's just made me more like confident in what I'm bringing and what I'm showing, because it's like I'm not meddling with a lot of people. And if I do meddle with people, then I'm like, I need to, it's like we were saying this actually before we started recording. It's like you need to trust people until they show you not to. And like I also, like, from being like previously emotionally unavailable, hyper independent, and a bit paranoid, like I'm releasing all of these survival tactics that like got me here, you know, that got me to like who I am today. But it also means that I need to be caught in my tracks, because it's like I could think someone's trying to one up me when they're actually just trying to say hi, you know. Or like I've also been so like I've kept my like creative community, or not even community, but I've created like I will know about my projects like maybe 6 to 7 months before I've even shared them with people. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that's like the best tactic in the world, because it can be a bit consuming, right? But it's this idea of like, if I share with you, I need to share because I respect you, and there's something that I want to bring you in. So like the experience of like being one-upped on, I haven't actually like reflected on that much. And even with the romantic relationships, like I haven't dated that many people. So like I've had romantic relations just because like I haven't had to deal with the emotional weight of like wanting to like date someone, get to know someone, but then also see them trying to like, oh, actually, no. Let me talk about this one time. So I don't know how to play chess, right? I don't know how to play chess. And I was dating this guy who said he was going to teach me. And then me, him, and someone were all playing chess together. And like the someone was like giving me like advice. But the person that I was dating was trying to like be like, nah, you do this, you do that. And like the someone had to literally say to him, like, look, let her do it herself. And I didn't know if it was like whole like, oh, I'm gonna show you this, so I'm gonna show you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's probably that.
Like also, babe, like the only time, oh my god, I was gonna no, I was just gonna say something dirty, but fuck, I'll edit out. I mean, like, babe, the only time that I'll ever be submissive is in the bedroom, so don't even give me that.
I know, like, amen and hallelujah. Honestly,
ever. I will net you. That was the only time you'll ever find me submissive. So good luck,
literally. I know that's right. I know that's right, sis. Well, and you know what? While we're talking like on the topic of like romantic thingies, have you ever had like a thing where like you've been or have you been the jealous partner or the jealous friend or the jealous family member? Like, has that come up for you before? Like, how has that come up for you, if at all?
I have been the jealous family member, but just because of like culturally in like so you know like within certain cultures, like women will be ushered to like do the cooking, do the cleaning, do this, do that. Like I was a jealous child when I was younger, because I was being forced to do shit when my brothers weren't. Do you know what I mean? Or like even if we went to family parties, my like certain relatives would be critical of what I was doing compared to what my brothers were doing. So like I definitely felt jealousy in that regard, because like it's the time of like, why are you being unfair because of gender? That's literally it. But like, how can I argue with someone who's been like practicing that belief since they were born? I just leave them to it.
Yeah,
what about you?
Hear that. Yeah, I would say for me, oh Lord, not the burps again.
It was that last swing. It got you. Like,
honestly, got me. But no, I'd say for me, like, I haven't been. I'd say not really. Like, I'd say growing up, it was kind of weird because, like in my, how do I put this? Like in my family, like especially because growing up, I always did really well, like in school and stuff like that or whatever. But I think I was more jealous of like the family members that got like more leeway given to them in that like you know what I mean? In that like I have a cousin who wanted to be an athlete, another cousin who wants to be a designer, like a sibling who like when we were younger wanted to be a designer, but now kind of wants to work in like a fashion in a different way. But like growing up, like I remember the first thing that I consciously remember wanting to be was a fashion designer. And then obviously, as we know, I spent the vast majority of my childhood wanting to be a dancer and training towards that and wanting to then be a choreographer. But like, I don't want to do that anymore. Although let's just say I'm circling back to that. But anyway, but no, but growing up, I like was, you know, really into fashion and design and stuff, but I felt like I wasn't allowed to explore my creative interests out. Like, even though I played instruments growing up, but like outside of that, like I couldn't explore that as much. And I felt like there were other people that got to explore their interest, and it's like, what, just because you know, like, it was always like, even at church or in the family, like, yeah, I remember at church growing up, actually, I'd get people would call me Dr. Kaanem at church, and it's like, mind you, I'm like a 7-year-old kid, and people are like, Dr. Kaanem, because I was a smart kid or whatever. But it's like, but there's so much more to me, and I was like, I guess I kind of felt jealous of people who weren't necessarily put in a box. You know what I mean? Because I felt like I was kind of put in a box and just like, this is what he's going to be. He's going to be a doctor, and that's it. It's like, who did I tell I wanted to be a doctor? Like, who did I say that to?
I think what you're also referred to is like sort of like a restriction as well, because it's like this idea of like, well, I mean, you're being applauded if you were in the restricted lines, but then being just peeping out, just having a look of what could be the abundance and the freedom available to you, of if you could try different things, is comforting. It's like, I think I've said adventure like about 8 times in this bloody podcast, but like, it's true, it's literally the adventure. And I just find it very like restrictive when people and like children are sort of like, their lives are like pushed before that they can even like have a chance to see what they want to work out. But it's interesting, like, do you know what, let me speak on it. You know, them parents who are jealous for what they couldn't do as a child, so they live out their their dreams through the child.
You know, that's very interesting, especially because like, that's something that like I read about but I haven't seen, and I'm like, that it's very interesting when you think about it, because it's like, they must have so much love for this person, but also resentment, because it's almost like they might feel like that person took a life away from them that they would have had without them.
100%. And do you know where I first really learned about that? Did you ever watch Dance Moms?
Did I ever watch
Dance Moms?
Yes.
Like yeah, so that,
like
I mean, without even
like
thinking, without even thinking about like well, thinking of TV representations of it, that's where I really learned it, because it's like, you have resentment there, you have frustration there, and like, you have so much so much pressure as well, because you want them to succeed, you want them to thrive, but you're not coming from a place of like, you want to see them do well, you want them to do well for you, you know?
And
like,
that's
it satisfies your void.
Yeah, it's a completely narcissistic model of parenting though, isn't it? Because it's like, they don't actually want to see the child necessarily, like, you know, we think about like the idea of like self-fulfillment. It's not necessarily the child's self-fulfillment that they're interested in nurturing. It's more them going, I want to be able to tell everybody else that my child is this. And it's like, well, we're off to a bad start. It's going to go downhill, because then, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, the child's going to feel like a trophy child. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And if the child does an activity that the parent used to do, then it's going to feel like twicefold, like it's going to feel like so much strongly. Like, it's quite funny, because I was listening to Kalechi's podcast the other day, and she has this segment called Start Your Motors, and she just talks about like the F1 and stuff. And I think there's this guy called Verstappen, and his dad also used to like race as a car driver. So you hear about the sort of pressure and the motivation and the sort of conditioning that they've both been through, just because it's an elite sport. Like, it's an elite sport that not everyone can do.
True, that is so true. And like, it's so sad, isn't it? It's really sad to be on the receiving end of that, because it's just like, damn, like, and it's like, and one thing you don't want is to kind of like have to wait for like, God forbid, like, but like wait for like for someone to feel like they have to wait for their parents to die to live the life they want to live. Because it's like, what if your parents don't die until you're in like your 50s? Like, you just not me. Listen, this is why I remember seeing a tweet where it's like, sometimes it's important to disappoint your parents, at least that they just, do you know what I mean? I was like,
no, it's true. It's literally true. Like disappoint your parents early, so that they're not like holding on to this version of you. But then equally, like, one thing that I do say that to like say is also protect your peace, also protect your safety, because there's no like, I wouldn't advise or encourage someone to disappoint their parents when they're still living at
To
home.
rely on them. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because then you're gonna have to
1000%.
feel the brunt of it, like
I would say disappoint
mentally.
them. Like, yeah, disappoint them if like, listen, if you've gone to uni, disappoint them. If you're going to uni, disappoint them at uni. If you've gone
Yeah.
to uni, disappoint them when you move out. If you've moved out, disappoint them. Basically.
I love that little breakdown because if we're giving practical advice.
Honestly, practical advice.
Do you think there's ever such a thing as healthy jealousy? Or do you think jealousy can be healthy? Because like I am aware that like jealousy is an emotion, it's a feeling that we all have. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
humans have have sort of like pushed the feeling to the side so that like it can't be shown. So now it's a bit like taboo. And that's I guess the one of the reasons why I first wanted to have this episode and speak to you on the podcast, because the way that humans look at jealousy, but then equally how can it be portrayed?
Yeah, I would say there were definitely healthy displays of jealousy. Well, obviously I've spent half this time going, this is how this person's been jealous of me, but it's like, yeah, I would say like I've definitely experienced jealousy in a healthy way, in that like it comes up in the form of competition, really. Like I would say there were definitely times in my life where I kind of saw people doing, much better than I was at the time, and thinking like even though I would love to have that, I need to turn this emotion that I'm feeling cannot be translated into frustration for that person because they deserve what they have. It needs to become like me internalizing it and using it as an engine to get started, to get to that place.
Yes.
Because like I said earlier, like the only life I'm in control of is my own. And like the thing is, jealousy is completely human. We all feel it. Like, listen, you know how many times on Instagram I'm seeing this person's bought a house, this person has a Birkin bag, this person's on a private jet, and I'm like, I would love those things as well. And I guess even though we don't want to call it what it is, in its root, it's jealousy. I guess or can it be called that? I don't know, but I would love to have those things, but like I'm not there yet. But like I'm so happy for those people, but it's like I just turn that into like, it's almost like that, it's like it's aspirational, because like, okay, I'm gonna get there too. I'm gonna wet my ass off and get to where I need to go.
You know what? You're actually thinking of the notes before me, because that's actually one of the things that I mentioned. I said, why don't people aspire then leak? No, I was like, why doesn't people aspire then leak hate to each other? Because it's this idea of like using that engine to fuel you into making decisions or lifestyle choices to get you the things that you want. And instead of leaking your energy to like seeing what they want. And I think social media is kind of a sticky one, because like a lot of people just like post their fruits. Okay, actually, now let me take an example. One reason why I prefer TikTok to Instagram is that in Instagram, like people just posting their like fruits, people posting their winnings, like they just post what they've got. But like TikTok, people will post everything. They'll post the process. They'll post like when it didn't go right. They post when they made it. When they post like so many that you see the journey. You see literally the transgression of well, their blessings and what got them to their blessings. And it's like a weird one, because that I find so much more aspiration or inspiration from TikTok than I do from Instagram, because Instagram is a very polished like version of those things.
And you know what? That's completely right. But I also think there's something to be said about, like in the current like cultural zeitgeist, people needing to see the journey, because it's like, we talk about Instagram's a highlight, like essentially we're saying Instagram's a highlight reel. It's like we all know this, because it's like, think about like ourselves. When I mentioned I was super depressed in 2019, I was still online looking. You would think I'm fine if you saw me from the outside. In fact, you can see my pictures from 2019. And you're like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I get that, but like no one wants to go to Instagram to share when they're super depressed. And it's like, I don't necessarily need to see the journey in order to not feel jealous, if that makes sense. It's just more like because jealousy isn't you know what it is for me. I think even sometimes I have a hard time even like putting my finger on it and going, is that really jealousy? Because like I said, I don't think I'm I'm not a jealous person, and like jealousy is a very foreign. It not it's a feeling that when it comes up, it feels foreign. You know what I mean? Like like sometimes when somebody's like in love for the first time or something, and it's like, oh, what is this feeling or whatever. That's kind of like me with jealousy, because I don't feel it all that often. I really don't, because when I see people achieving things, like things that I might even never achieve in my lifetime, I'm still like, you know what, good for you, and that's amazing. Do you know what I mean? But like, I guess it's because I've even growing up, it's just a thing in my household. Growing up, we were always I remember mom always said growing up, like, what's for you is for you. Basically, it's kind of like you know, something to that effect. And it's like, yeah, because I think that's just the way I'm wired. Like when I
Yeah.
see people achieving these great things, I don't have like, I feel like there's a scarcity mentality that underpins jealousy because it's like, you know, it's like crabs in a barrel because it's like there's enough room for everybody to have their things in due time, promise, you know?
That
But
is
I don't know.
literally it. You've cracked jealousy. You've cracked it. You have.
The people in
That's
chat are
it.
right. Maybe I am Dr. Kaanem.
You
Shit.
they were foreseeing your future and look at you finding it
Honestly,
out again.
they prophesize. But yeah, like, and don't get me wrong, that being said, like, again, I don't want to sound like hippy dippy about it because, like, there are a few times I get, like I said, like, I think the most recent example where I think of, like, I was like, oh, I'm jealous, aren't I?
Yeah.
Was when, okay, I reconnect. Oh shit. Yeah, I can't use that example on that. Anyway, I've told you about this already off air, but anyway, to speak around it, basically, I reconnected with somebody and recently, and let's just say there's a factor in their life that has changed, and I remember thinking, oh, so does that mean that, you know what I mean? I was kind of like, oh, what does that mean? Like, where do I stand, basically? Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I want access to this person in a way that I cannot have them, you know? So basically, that's what I'm
Did
trying
you
to say.
fancy them?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I got
Yeah.
confused for a second. Okay.
Oh yeah. So okay, so to summarize, listeners, basically, this part I'll just keep an eye. Basically, reconnect with the person, and now I can't have access to them in the way that I want to have access
Yeah.
to them. The intelligent amongst you'll know exactly what I mean by that. So yeah, it's kind of just like I was definitely, I was jealous. I remember like unpacking this with a friend and kind of going, yeah, I'm jealous, and I can say that because I know I think I can, you know what I mean? I think that's what the feeling is, and like it feels weird to feel it and to experience it in that way, but it's a human
Yeah.
thing and it comes up, and it's like, yeah, jealousy is completely normal. Like I said at the top of the episode, it comes up for me in romantic settings, but that's also because I've never been in a relationship before.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, am I just being normal territory, like you were saying earlier, or is it that I'm jealous? And it's like, where am I treading the line between those two things?
Do you know what
But it's like, go
I think
ahead.
it is as well. It's your expression of it. I think that's what makes it like more, I guess, practical to deal with. Because if you're like
Yeah.
aware of when something like
Hmm.
arises, you can
Hmm.
translate that to yourself like
Yeah.
calmly, and you can let it
Mm.
go healthily. Then I think that's like the most ideal state to use with well to be aware with jealousy. Now,
Yeah.
if you're denying that jealousy to yourself and trying to let's say now you
Mm.
the friend and the partner were all chilling with each other when you're rattled, you're literally tense, then I'm gonna be like, okay, so something needs to change. Something needs to change, because it just shows you how when you ignore jealousy, when you displace, oh, you know what? Full circle moment. Guess what? Guess what I'm gonna say?
What?
When you compartmentalize your jealousy, then it's gonna be leaking in other places.
Yeah, that's completely true. Because that is a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it. Literally,
We've cracked jealousy.
Wow, they need to. When is the Nobel Peace Prize? They need to give you the next one for whatever category. I need one.
Well, listen, society and culture, we've got there. We got it.
Yeah, not you knowing the categories. What she said, society and culture. Yeah, but you know what? That's so true, and like it's definitely something I'm obviously working on and working. Like in terms of like when that jealousy comes up, because like I have definitely noticed sometimes, like especially when I'm like getting into something with someone new or whatever, like. Oh, I'm making this sound like it happens a lot. Listeners, I am still at the time of at the time of recording anyway, I'm still very single. So if you're hot, contact me. Thank you. If no, hot, emotionally available,
respectful, make Kaanem special, because I will fight you if not.
Absolutely. My friends will come after you if you don't treat me right. But no, like yeah, but anyway. But yeah, like I will definitely say, like, even though I'm still, kind of figuring out the whole dating thing, or if I'm into something with someone new, I definitely noticed like I Because sometimes I'm working not as much as when I was younger, and in fact, it doesn't really happen so much nowadays. But when I was younger, it definitely happened. I'd get attached super fast and get territorial and like jealous, but like not in a way that I'd ever verbalize to them. Like to them, I'd be like, everything's fine, but I would feel like I would take it quite personal. Like sometimes if they, let's say, didn't want to hang with, like if you didn't want to hang with me or whatever, and it's like, why are you not obsessed with me? Something wrong? You know what I mean? But I think now at 22, I've definitely curbed that behavior. But yeah, I think it's also like, I'm glad that I'm learning about these things in my youth, because I've had to learn a lot of really painful lessons about jealousy in the context of family and friendship, like very early on, well, relatively early on in my life. But because I haven't been in a relationship, I'm kind of like, what I don't want to do is get to 30 and be having a crisis and a meltdown because I haven't experienced it. So I'm glad that these things are happening now, you know?
Yeah, these things and also these lessons, because then you're able to just like meet from the place that you're at instead of meet from a place that like you were saying, like let's say you were talking about earlier when you're like, oh, why you're not so obsessed with me. Let's say you were saying that like when you were like a teenager, and because you haven't processed those feelings from when you're a teenager up until now, they follow you to the next relationship, or they follow you to the next meeting, or they follow you to the next one. So it's just being, you know, honest with self, and being 1000%. Like compassionate, and not like projecting that experience and that lesson to every experience that you're going to have in life, because things change, things develop, and like if you're looking at life with a lens of what happened in the past, it's going to dictate your future in such like a sour way, because it's just going to be like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then you start sort of like scaremongering yourself. And like jealousy can be, like you said, like a tool. It can transmute you, it can translate you into like working hard for yourself, getting your fucking Birkin, like
literally,
it can push you in whatever like lane you want. So like I think that is a definitely massive point. I'm really proud of us. We've literally like we've come full circle about jealousy.
We really have.
I feel is there anything that you want to share else on this topic?
No, I don't really have much else to say. I just say that like we're all works in progress, like myself included. Like I understand listeners, I've spent a lot of time kind of just honestly firing shots, really, the alcohol thing. But like, I mean, I'm like that anyway. But anyway, but like, I would definitely say there are times where I've been jealous, and there are times where I'm going to be jealous. But like we've been saying this entire time, it's about how you display that emotion. Because like, for instance, when the critical lesson that I learned was, it was actually about this time last year, where I was really into somebody who I just didn't feel like was reciprocating it. And I was kind of like, why? And then like, you know, when your antenna goes up, and I started to just get really paranoid. It was just paranoia and jealousy and this weird mix of emotions, and me not feeling like I'm good enough. And like, it's just like, it's so funny, that downward spiral that took me on, but I'm glad that happened. You know, I sound so hippie, I'm glad it happened. But like, I am, because now I know how to deal with that, which is why I don't feel jealousy so much in romantic context so much now, you know? And like, I would just say, we're all works in progresses, guys. Be kind to yourselves. And if you feel jealous also sometimes, you don't always need to tweet about it or Instagram it. Put it in your group chat. And if you don't have a group chat, text one of your good Judies. And if you don't have a good Judy, put it in your notes app. And if you don't have a phone, I don't know, pen and paper.
And on top of that, if you're by yourself and you can't translate that information to anyone, listen to this fucking episode.
Boom, hello.
Period.
Let's get those numbers, you know the vibes. We're trying to get those numbers, you know the vibes.
Honestly, that was great. I think I'm gonna end this segment here, because there's nothing more to add. It's too good.
Honestly, like, we've done it.
It's amazing. I'm so proud of us. Like, we've had so many gems.
In fact, one more thing as well. If people because I know there are going to be people listening to this, or they might like take snippets of things I've said and send it to someone and be like lol underneath, because I know people are shady like that. Don't fucking come and contact me about was this me? If you know it was you, you know it was you, you know what you did. Now fuck off, move on, let's go.
And that's on Smoke. And that's on DM Talks. And that's on Period. Hi everyone, we are back for Tarot Talks, and this is where I give a tarot reading for the episode for Kaanem for the podcast. And we've got a few questions spiraling at the moment. So like, I want to get 2 oracle cards. The first one is going to be for an oracle message after the conversation that we just had in decoding the message. And then the second one will be for the message, will be an answer to the question that Kaanem mentioned. So Kaanem, please would you repeat the question that you mentioned?
Of course. So my question to Spirit was, how does one kind of deal with those feelings that come with stepping away from or removing yourself from friends and people in your past who you no longer feel aligned with, and like just the feelings that kind of come with practicing that discernment, and kind of also making sure that you're just staying true to yourself by stepping away from those people and keeping it that way. So yeah, that's my question to Spirit.
Thank you so much. I am going to ask you to breathe with me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to repeat. If you hear me repeating stuff, you know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But we're going to breathe with me, and then eventually I'm going to ask you, you're going to tell me when to stop. Okay. So, Spirit, higher power. Oh, I was like, Spirit at my door.
You know, Jasmine
ancestors, whoa. I felt like someone was trying to come in. I was like, ancestors.
Is that you?
But yeah, ancestors, spirit team, spirit guides. I pray over this reading for a timeless message for the collective, and in response to Kaanem's question, I ask for oracle messages to be provided for how we affirm ourselves when we learn more about jealousy, and how can we affirm ourselves when we have to distance ourselves from individuals that are not aligned with our best interest. How can we stick to our authentic voice, how we can move swiftly from those energies and those feelings so that they don't conflict with our peace. Ashe and amen. Well, that one felt me. I want to So breathe with me and tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, two cards just kind of like came out.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to use those two cards.
Okay.
So the answer in our prayers resides in our daily habits. And then the next one is this most more me and talking. This moment is the most important. Is I can't speak. This moment is the most important. Is this how you want to use it? I'm just getting my book out. It gives more messages. Right. So it says, your prayers haven't gone unheard. In fact, the things you desire are already in existence. Have you made space for your blessings? Is it the day-to-day things you do that decide when exactly your blessings will have the permission to come in? Ooh. And then the first one...
That one dragged me just...
And the first one is right. All right, boom. The past no longer exists. The future doesn't even either. This means that the only moment that you know exists for sure is the one you're in right now. Make the most of it. Everything will sort itself out.
God damn.
And I think immediately, even before I pull like more cards for this, I'm getting the energy of looking at how we can assert ourselves, be the sole authority of our lives, so that we're not distracted by external or external and internal distractions. Just because it's like the power in our prayers reside in our daily habits. If we're committing to a routine that's going to bring in and sustain the blessings that we want, because we're not just looking for the blessings, we're looking to sustain them in a applicable and a thriving environment, okay. And that's the idea of the answering your prayers reside in our daily habits. It's being committed to something that is going to bring you long-term satisfaction. In response to like conversation about jealousy, and in response to like the collective understanding that jealousy is linked to scarcity, and jealousy is linked to like competition and scarcity, it kind of ignores that there is literally something out there for everyone in this world, and it sort of negates the fact that we live in an environment of the abundance. So like the second oracle card said, the moment is the most important, is how you're going to use it. It's like you can I can't see again.
Compartmentalize.
Thank you, Kaanem. You can, at this point right now, the past doesn't have to exist, the future doesn't have to exist. I can use this information, this direction of source with me and Kaanem to actually integrate what I want for my future and how I'm going to like sort of move accordingly in that. It's like, if I need the toilet, I'm going to go get up and go to the toilet. Like if I'm hungry, I'm going to go and make myself a meal. If I want to make feel enriched by a good book, I'm going to pick up and read. And it's just kind of being a bit more like applicable and discerning of how we can take ownership of our lives and not be like distracted by the just the shortcomings. I'm just going to pull some cards.
Okay, that.
Spirit, higher power, universe. Please, can
that
I
was
have
a word
some?
though. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, go on.
I'm going to use this deck actually. It's a gorgeous deck. It's called the deck of the Sweet Tarot. The Tower of the Sweet Twilight. And this is the idea that the sweet sadness of innocence, an enchanted world that reawakens at twilight and dies with it, gathering within all souls in love.
Ooh.
Very beautiful. It's giving. Sorry, go on.
No, go. What are you saying?
I just said it's giving me very much like a Corpse Bride, very much Tim Burton, like very eerie, very mystical, you know.
I love that. I actually love that. Exciting.
Okay. Spirit, higher power, universe. Is there any cards that can affirm? Oh, okay. Okay. Right. So we got two cards. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay, right. This is the message. So we got the Knight of Swords. No, not the Knight of Swords. The Page of Swords in reverse. That's this figure.
Okay.
Look how beautiful these cards are.
Oh, that is fabulous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like
nice.
we've also got this card. This is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles. So the Knight of Swords is talking about the element of air, and I'm sorry, the Page of Swords is talking about the element air, and it's this learning on the job energy. It's not being influenced by the misunderstandings, the miscommunications, the naive, like petty shit that's on our day-to-day. Sorry, pardon me. And it's using using your resources as they are to get you to your destination. And this is like a mental this is a practice in mental intelligence, because you can adopt a vision which is proactive, isn't sort of polluted by the confusion that's around the world. And I love that the Four of Pentacles that came up to this, because this is literally talking to attachment. This is a card that shows you about being precious with things, but reverse, it's literally talking about scarcity. And I think if we live in this capitalist structure, we're also thinking, oh, what's next? When's this? When's our aha moment? So that we can kind of like rest then, or be joyous then, or be happy then. Like it's never now. And this Page of Swords and Four of Pentacles is asking you to be present in a way that you can be precious with your time today. Like you can like this moment, this experience, this intellect that you share is something to be rewarded from, and like something to take from. You're able to articulate like your decision making from a space that is open and willing to evolve as you are, instead of like, oh no, I need to meet this person to get to this route, I need to have that strategy to get to this thing. And I think like in this card you see these individuals sort of, well, with the swords they have like they're looking in one direction, where the Four of Pentacles is looking head on. But because we got them reversed, it's kind of making me feel like, you know, when people just look at a dead end and they just keep on looking at the dead end and they think about all the explanations to why it went to that end, but they're never really thinking about why it could go right, and why like having and I'm going to say that word again, sense of adventure, or having that playfulness can like actually show you a different relationship to your strategy, or show you a different way to come across. There's another card that popped out during the reading, and that was Three of Pentacles. Three Pentacles was like what before Four Pentacles, and you see these two individuals like looking up at each other, but they're not actually two separate individuals. It's actually a mirror. So it's like
Okay.
this person is looking at themselves, but they've got a different expression of themselves. And this
Yeah.
means it's like whatever you're seeing, whatever you're putting in isn't being reflected out because you've got a restricted expression of it. If you're a bit more fluid in your creativity or your approach, you're going to like be a bit more open to the product that you're making, or be a bit more receptive to like how it's well how the end result. I'm just going to pull one more card because I can feel myself like talking about loads of different themes. Spirit, higher power, universe.
I get it though.
Please, can I have a card to summarize? Okay, right. Okay, now the message. So one of the first questions we're talking about is affirmation, or a message linked to the collective jealousy. And then we also had well, we just sort of asked for advice to discern from those energies that we're trying to leave away from, you know, those certain friends, family members, etc., who have excited these emotions or feelings from us, and we just want a different relationship with how those emotions leave us and approach us and heal within us. I got the Eight of Wands, and this is very like go 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 energy, but because all of these wands are different heights and different levels and different like widths and stuff, it kind of reminds me that like because of the way that life works, we're all going to have a different expression of how a feeling's gonna, or how an energy is gonna affect us, and how it's gonna stay within us. But we need to be aware that this energy will leave. This energy isn't gonna last forever. And even so, if this energy is within us, it is still an energy that we can create from. But we need to sort of reassure ourselves that like what we have in front of us is abundance. We don't have to work from a scarcity mindset because that's what got us here. We can work in a mindset that is putting our information and our like best foot forward, because when you kind of work from a place of like, well, I guess like competitive doubt, it kind of colludes like what you're making, because you just get overwhelmed by it. You just kind of get burnt out and you're just like, oh wait, not today. But if you come with approach like, this is what I know, this is what I haven't liked, you can find out that that's still a blessing in itself, because now you know what you really don't want. You know,
that's true.
Now you can say, no, I know what I want, I know what I really don't want, you know. So having that like information and having that receptive compassionate voice to yourself can allow you to move forward, and it can allow you to make more choices that are of value to you. I say this because the last card at the bottom of the deck is the Empress, and the Empress is literally all about like self-care, creativity, like mothering yourself, literally like nursing the environment that you are so to keep. Like the Empress could be Beyonce, but the Empress would be a gardener. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a very like passive, nurturing, like comforting energy that kind of reminds us of luxury and reminds us of like trying to not be overwhelmed by the emotions that fuel us, but to know that the emotions are there for a reason. You don't have to believe everything that you think, but it also can help you translate an expression. It was funny because we spoke about Adele in the DMC, and now I'm thinking of her music. I'm thinking about how she's been able to develop routines that have grounded her, how she's been able to translate her information, her pain, into medicine. And she didn't even realize she was just writing an album. She was literally just writing an album. She's writing her music, but that music and her showcasing that music is going to help millions of people. And it's showing that like the energy that you have can bring creativity or bring something to the surface that you can deal with and that you can leave with. It doesn't always have to like, you can't be diluted by it, but you can't be overwhelmed by it, and it's just having an healthy expression of it. I think that's why the pentacles are here, because it's like this idea that you need something to ground you. You need, like, you want something to ground you so you don't get lost in your head. But then, because the page is a bit of a they're like childlike, they're playful, they want to like learn, but they also don't want to be burnt too quick that they never try again. So that's why you've got the 8 of Wands here, because it's like, no, go, live, do, create, share, collaborate, move, because it's only going to help you in the long run. Because I think a lot of, whether it's us two or the collective, like, there's a lot of creative energy, because, well, that's what the cards are saying. And like, even the oracle messages, it's like, okay, so we want you to create something. Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Like, have you done it yet? Have you done it? Have you done it? And it's like, okay, baby, but I wanted to talk about jealousy. And like,
literally,
yeah. So like, I do think, well, in the answer to our questions is that we need to have a compassionate, mindful process to how we leave individuals. They don't need to be told that they're being left, but we need to be comfortable with why we had to leave them, and eventually, because we can talk about emotions as much as we can, but like, and this is a lesson that I'm learning about myself as well. Like, I will never be able to fully tell someone how long and how it will be sitting in that emotion for that time for them. And I think that's why the 8 of Wands came up, because it's like everybody's different energy. Like, you don't know if someone's energy has been influenced by past experience, which means that they're going to deep it even more. It all differs. So like, I just think we're in a creative space and we have abundance available to us, but to be aware of that abundance is to be aware of the things that we offer ourselves. And what are you offering? Sorry, I just got distracted because now I'm looking at this mice who's giving a seed, and they don't even realize that this mice is doing that. They're just so like tunnel vision on what's happening, but it's like, no, something's available to you, something's been given to you in this moment. Like, it's your choice, it's your birthright to see what you're gonna like direct it to. Like, where are you gonna put that focus? Where are you gonna put that energy? I think that's the reading.
I love that. You know what? That a lot of that is speaking to me. I can't even lie to you. Like, yeah, like I'm like, it's true. Especially that point about like something, obviously having to like release something creative into the world and not doing it. I'm like working on it. So I'm doing it. But yeah, like, no, definitely. Thank you for that, because I definitely think that a lot of that resonated with me, and I'm kind of just like, you know what? Yeah. That came on time.
Well, I'm happy that it did, because like at one point I was doing the reading and I was like, am I even talking about jealousy anymore? Like, but I guess,
but the thing is, like, all these different things tie into it, and all these different factors influence it. So
yeah, that's one thing that I really like about tarot, because it's like there's so many different perspectives and interpretations of it. Like, it could instigate how you next move, but it can also reflect how you are right now. So
right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
No, for sure. Thank you for doing that.
Amazing. No, thank you for the thank you.
Thank you.
This means it takes us to our last segment now, and that's called the direct message. And oh my goodness, I just clocked the time. Oh my gosh.
How long is it? What, I can't see it.
It's kind of cute because it's 222, because it's like an angel number. But
like,
but it just made me be like, babe, that's the time already. But anyway, this is the last segment of the episode. It's the direct message. It's where me and Kaanem share a little take-home message for the listeners. And my take-home message this week is that your jealousy, as in my jealousy, your jealousy, whoever's listening, jealousy, is your responsibility to take care of. It should not be misdirected or projected onto others' whether that's other people, other places, other experiences, because at the end of the day, it literally is just an emotion. It literally is a feeling. And I think one of the first things that you learn about in therapy is the fact that, like, when you're an adult, you're only supposed to be taking care of like your feelings, and like sometimes people can fall into manipulation when they're thinking that they need to, like, well, take paracetamol for other people's headaches, and you'll never win by that. You'll never feel like you're satisfied or full or fed by that, because then you're going to be like, oh, I wanted to do this, but then this person did this. I wanted to do that, but this environment didn't let me. And it's like, no. You're responsible for putting your emotions first. There's always going to be a healthy way of translating that. And I think this conversation has really opened us up to understanding how jealousy can be translated honestly and healthily, because it's not going to consume us like any emotion would to consume us, you know. Like we could talk about happiness, and like in reality, if I was happy like all the time, like, I mean, that would be a great world, but I'm sure I'd be burnt out. Like, I'm so tired, because I'll just be like, like I'll just be so like elated all the time that like I would I'd genuinely just feel tired. Like I just genuinely feel tired. So I think it's just like not penalizing your emotions, and just knowing that if you're honest about them and you can healthily express them, then you're only like going to save yourself a lot more, like, well, heartache, really. So that's my direct message.
I know that's right. Sis, that was a word.
What's your direct message?
Yeah, my direct message, I guess it's like, get comfortable. Like, listeners at home, like, I guess this is even a word to myself, to you, to whoever, like, get comfortable with feeling jealousy like you would anger. Like how is it that we're so comfortable with saying, I'm angry, I'm sad? Or for most people, not everyone's comfortable verbalizing their emotions, but most people are comfortable verbalizing those emotions. But get comfortable with jealousy. Like, even if you don't say it to anybody else, say it to yourself and just be like, you know what, I'm jealous right now. Do you know what I mean? Because it makes an emotion a lot easier to kind of deal with when you kind of just say it for what it is. It's kind of like, you know, we've spoken about this idea of theatre masking before. Like, don't be that person that hides the jealousy with anger and trying to take the person down a peg and humbling them on, you know, Beyonce's internet or the Twitter or whoever. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, just get comfortable with feeling jealousy as an emotion. And also, when you do feel that feeling, you know, you don't have to necessarily share it with the world. You can share it with a trusted friend, a trusted family member, or just keep it between you and the Lord you serve, if you serve one at all.
Exactly. Or get a journal.
Or get a journal. There you go. But it's like, it's just like, let's just get comfortable with calling emotions what they are, because like, yeah, there's that. But then also, I guess another direct message I have is like, you know what? Sometimes it's actually okay to be bad vibes as well. Like, sometimes we need to. I can't, like, I saw this really poignant tweet maybe last week or the week before about like somebody liking their friends with a sprinkle of bad vibes, and I was like, same.
I saw the exact same tweet.
You know what I'm talking about?
Same tweet. Because you know what? A madness was happening on the TL, and it came out because of fake friendship. Honestly, I want to see the good. I want to see the bad. I want to see the ugly. I don't want to see
Let me see it. Yes.
Just good all the time, because like,
I don't trust people that are like that, you know.
Yeah, can I just say something? This is kind of off topic, but like, I literally had a thought about this today. Fake nice people are the most resentful people in the world. No, honestly, fake nice people are the most resentful people in the world, because they're being like, yes, you're being yes men to everyone. They're saying yes to the bare minimum. They're saying yes to what they're offered. They're just saying yes all the time, that they're never actually putting themselves forward. So whilst every time they say yes, they're just thinking,
it's
they go down, and then when they blow up, they get so spiteful and so like
nasty.
What's the word? But it's not even just a reflection of like let's say what someone's done. It's a reflection of months or years, or just a very long period of being a yes man.
Yeah, that's exact.
And it's just like, agree. There's no point. Like, the thing is, if you're honest with yourself, people love you for who you're, like, for your entirety, and it's the truth. Like, regardless of like what like facet you show. And I think like you're doing yourself disservice as well as the people that you're around, because they're going to fall in love with a version of you that's not even true to yourself.
It's true. And like, you know what? It's just a perfect example of those people being wolf in sheep's clothing, because it's like there's no authenticity there, my love. Like it's kind of like, come on, like, and you see it all, come on. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's not like when I say a sprinkle of bad vibes, I mean like a healthy sprinkle, not a handful, not a big dash of bad vibes, but like, it's like I just want to see the human element of someone. Like there are definitely times where I'm just like, that bitch doesn't deserve that, man. Or fuck this nigga. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like there's just times I'm just like, and I know I'm being bad vibes, and I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
no,
mean?
but the thing is, I think there's
Yeah,
like a freedom in having that.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
we went to a podcast, like a live podcast, and recently, and the presenter
Yeah.
asked like a similar question, and one of the guests was like, I just love gossip. I love gossip. I love the tea. I love passive
Honestly,
aggression. I love
honestly,
this. And it's like, it's not the fact they're saying like, oh, I'm going to be bad mind and do it every day, but it's like a facet of myself that I'm aware of. That I'm aware of, and the people that love me will take it for me, but I'm not gonna
very true.
give my energy to everyone, so it's not like I'm gonna do it to everyone.
Yeah, that is yeah, I remember that actually, and that's so true. That is 100% true, and it's like I can't lie. All my friends who know me know I love listen. Even though I'm very busy a lot of the time, always have time for gossip. If somebody's like Kaanem, hot gossip, I say, wait, babe, let me call you back. Give me 5 minutes. What happened? What happened? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm always, I don't care. That's, it was a question about toxic traits. That's what it was. Remember?
Yes.
And they were talking about their toxic traits, and then one of them was like, oh, I love gossip. I was like, maybe that's mine as well. Me, my ear is always to the ground, honey.
No, it's funny because I know I get it. Like I completely get it. I think with look, we're doing a podcast within a podcast, damn. But but like I've noticed like with me, like I really do you know, okay, this is gonna sound so mad, but we move, right? And this is my shadow speaking. This is my shadow. So like in my life, when people have moved mad, I've had to move madder to get them away.
Yeah. That's not even that mad. Like, that's
no, but
normal,
it's like the extent to which I will go, and I'll choose to go because I want it to end and I want to be final.
And
it's not like I'm do you know what I mean? I'm out here with a wellness podcast. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like a dictator or anything, but I'm saying it in the sense of like it's a massive pride problem for me. It's a massive pride problem for me.
Yeah,
so
completely.
like I've seen myself over the years just leave. Leave, just not engage. Because what can you do? Because I'm not going to lose my mind over something that's happened. But then equally, the fact that you think you could try,
definitely, because there are definitely certain people. There are definitely certain people who, especially like when I put space between myself and certain people, and then they kind of like push harder or kind of force the dynamic that just isn't there anymore. It's like even like, oh god, too specific an example, but I just had an example basically with somebody who I'm clearly not close like that with anymore. Is still trying to pretend that we're still in that space, and it's like, move on, like it's done. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like move away, and it's like I find I wish I was a bit more like that. That would kind of just shut them off and step away, because I actually just get to just block numbers at this point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just done, man. But I rate that though. I respect it.
It's a weird one because it's like I think if any like so many people have met me now have seen such a more mature and much more of a developed person, because you know what I mean, age, growth, life, whatever. But if you were in my mind, you wouldn't think that. Like if you were in my mind, it's just like what I show you, and I'm still quite an open book. Like what I show you is still just a percentage of what I am. Like, and I think like when we're honest with ourselves, whether we translate that to trusted friends or therapy or whatever, we're able to just get more of a grip of like what we're walking with or what we're doing, because like you can't, well, life is for the living. Life is literally for the living.
Listen, honestly, it is the vibes, sister. It's true. Honestly. It absolutely is. 1000%.
But no, I've had such a pleasure talking to you today.
I had
And
a pleasure talking
yeah, we really, really went into it. We shared so many bombs. We shared so many
to you. Honestly.
we had a heart to heart, had truth bombs, had everything in this
Honestly.
episode. Um,
Honestly, it was fun.
please can you let listeners know where to find you on socials?
Of course. So
Amazing.
yeah, I would say I guess the best place you can probably find me is probably Instagram. So I mean it's literally my full fucking government at this point.
Oh,
But anyway,
should I can if you don't want to send it on the podcast, I can put it on I can just tag you in it on the promo.
yeah, just tag no, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Like it's at Kaanem Roach on pretty
Okay.
much everything.
Okay.
Now whether or not to be fair, like I'm pretty open to in fact, you know actually, people out there like say hello actually. I've noticed I don't make myself approachable enough because I've always been like, I have my friends. But I'm like, you know what? Like come say hello, let's be here. But yeah, I'd say you can find me there on socials. Also, look out for some creative projects. Let's just say that I'm going to be dropping. By the time the listeners hear this, there might be things in existence. But I would just say, yeah, look at my Instagram
Amen.
for any updates. Things are coming. I hate me. Oh my god, I've become that person that's like, I'm working on like a super secret project,
That's
and I can't
fine.
talk about it, but it's super secret. Yeah, but
No, the
but
thing
no,
is, they've through the podcast, no, through the literally tarot episode and through your confirmation, they know things are gonna be fire. They know things are coming because they're gonna
the
be
vibes.
they're gonna be like, look, spirit, we're holding you accountable. We're holding you accountable. So
Exactly.
I want to see these things.
Literally, but yeah, they look at my Instagram because technically, if I say what I'm working on, my employer might find me. So yeah, just look at my Instagram, come and say hello, and yeah, Instagram. You can also find me on Twitter, even though I'm not super active on Twitter anyway. But Instagram definitely there. So yeah, come and say hello, guys.
No, definitely. Thank you so much, honestly. And
Thanks
you're
for
always
having
dropping
me.
fire looks as well. So that's another shout to
Thank
why you
you.
should follow Kaanem on Instagram. The styling,
Honestly,
the
the
fits,
wit, the
there you
wit.
go.
If you want your fix of fashion and somebody with a very fast wit, look for me. That's all.
There you go. There you go. Honestly, you've been incredible, Kaanem, and I've enjoyed
Thank
chatting
you,
to you so
Angel.
much.
Thank you. I'd like to
Yeah,
see you
what are
too.
my socials? My socials are, well, for this podcast is DM.Talks. DM.Talks, and that's for Instagram. For
Mm-hmm.
my for my no, just follow me DM.Talks because I promise you, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't posted anything on my my other Instagram since May, and I doubt I'm gonna do it soon. So follow
I
just
hear
DM
you.
Talks.
I hear that.
And yeah, that's gonna be where you hear announcements about episodes. We've got some fire guests coming up soon.
Yeah.
So you
Listen,
you need to push those notifications on, boy. You need to
honestly,
push those notifications on. You ain't
honestly,
ready. You ain't really ready for
and
season DM Talk season 2, honestly.
period. You know that the guest is before this episode, isn't it?
One of
It's
them.
okay, right. So, guys, you need to listen to the podcast episode that's before this one. Also, so if you come straight here, let's say I don't know, you're a friend of mine or whatever, and you're coming to support. If you do anything for me, guys, listen to the episode before this one as well, please. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Honestly, it's been get yourself a friend like Kaanem, guys. But no, it's been so lovely talking to you today. I've enjoyed it so much. But I'm
Thank you,
gonna
Angel.
love yous and fucking leave yous because guess what? I'm
Yeah.
fucking tired. But we shall see you
Same.
later, guys. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.